What's up, guys? Muley Freak Eric here. I'm here with the legend, Kyle Douglas. We're here to talk about the #1 mistake archery hunters make in terms of their form while hunting and shooting, for that matter. What is it?
Yep. I would say it's hand torque on the bow. That would be the #1 thing I see that guys make the mistake on. They're just gripping their bow too tight and torquing it.
Torquing it left to right. So
Yep.
hand torque, let's talk about that. So that can throw you off left to right, which could translate into downhill shot, missing a buck, either hitting him or a bull for that matter, which is worse with an elk, hitting him in the shoulder, which
Yep.
I'm guilty of, or hitting an animal too far back in the guts, which we all know that can spell disaster too, can translate to not finding the animal. The animal for sure is gonna die with a gut shot.
Yeah. Yeah, your biggest mistake most guys are gonna make as far as missing left and right is gonna come from hand torque. And that can, severely affect left and right shots, especially when you're nervous and shooting an animal and stuff. If your form isn't perfect on the practice range, it's going to be even worse when you're shooting an animal and you're not thinking straight because the adrenaline's flowing and stuff like that.
Gotcha. So how do we get perfect hand torque?
It's just all in the way you grip the bow. So you're going to want to run the bow inside the lifeline on your palm. So your lifeline is this crease in your palm here. You're going to want to run the bow on the inside of that on the pad of your thumb. So you want your thumb at a 45-degree angle to the bow riser, and then you don't want to grip around the front of the bow. Just the pressure from holding the bow at full draw will keep that into the pad of your thumb here. And then another thing that most guys miss is you want the back of your hand flat to you, just like you're telling somebody to stop. If it's wrapped around the bow, it's going to load up the left edge of the grip there on your palm, and that's going to torque the bow even if you're not twisting it, physically twisting it. It'll load all the pressure on that side of your grip, and then it's gonna torque your bow.
So, okay, so lifeline, making sure that you're telling somebody to stop, hand it a 45, and just really letting loose and trying not to death grip that bow.
Yeah, you just want the bow to soak into the pad of your thumb just like it's a sponge. Just soak up that bow. Any tension inside of your palm here is usually gonna create some torque. You just want that to soak up there, and yeah, so your thumb will be at a 45, fingers kind of tucked in, and the bow just on the inside of your lifeline there and right down the pad of your thumb. That's how you want the bow.
So perfect. So I'm gonna send a few downrange, just at 20 yards. I'm gonna have you just kind of critique me.
Okay.
Here, and let's see how we do here.
Yeah.
So from what you told me, handed a 45, stopped, relaxed, and you're dead from here to here, right?
Yeah, so from your elbow all the way to the end of your fingertip should be super relaxed. You don't want any tension in those muscles. Just because that can create torque, and it's also going to make your bow arm wiggle a little bit more if those muscles are tense. So the more relaxed you get it from your elbow down, the better off you're going to be.
Okay, so what about inexperienced shooters who might say, I feel like the bow's going to fall in my hand? What would you say to that?
If they're worried about the bow falling out of your hand, I would say put a wrist sling on your bow so you don't have to worry about it. You just want to make sure that the wrist sling's not too tight. You don't want it, on your wrist when you're shooting the bow because that'll create torque too. You want it loose enough it just kind of flops down against your wrist, but that kind of eases a lot of people's mind to where they're not going to drop the bow. And I especially like that for like a steep downhill shot, because if you have a really relaxed grip on a steep downhill shot, your bow tends to want to fly out of your hand if you don't have like a wrist sling or something on your bow when you're shooting it.
Oh.
So
yeah, I think guys are too used to death gripping it, thinking they got to grip the heck out of it, and not thinking about how that translates to in the field. And when I grew up, whether it was sports or hunting, you practice how you play. So if you're going to practice with crappy form, you're probably going to play with crappy forms, which meaning you're going to hunt crappy. So it's important that you get these basics right for when you do have an opportunity, that you don't screw it up by shooting a mature bull through both shoulders, guilty, or shooting a buck too far back, which knock on wood hasn't happened to me yet, but it's just not a good situation. So let's go ahead and shoot another one and see how we do.
That's looking pretty good. The one thing I would maybe say is you always want to set your grip before you draw back. So once you draw back, you don't want to have to adjust anything.
Adjust it. I notice it's wiggling a little bit in my hand to get more comfortable.
Yep, you're kind of just shifting just slightly. And part of that comes from just getting used to the grip, especially if that's a new bow and stuff. But you want your hand just totally soft as you draw back, so you don't have to like consciously focus on relaxing it and stuff.
Yeah.
Just you set your grip, and once you start drawing, you don't want to move that grip again.
Okay. So I'm gonna really try hard to set my grip and not move it from there.
Yep, so kind of your normal shot routine, You're gonna wanna set your stance, hook your release onto your bow, set your grip into your bow, and then draw your bow back and leave your grip set the way it is, and then start your shot from there.
So number 1, stance. Number 2, hook your release. 3, set your grip.
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, that'll be a good start to your shot process.
Oh, moved it.
Yeah, that one.
I definitely adjusted it there because I noticed that my hand wasn't relaxed and at a 45.
Yep.
So that's why I had to adjust it. It's so hard trying to remember all these steps.
Yeah, and it's just muscle memory. It comes with time. The more you do it, the more you're gonna get used to it. But yeah, that one you were kind of grabbing on the front of the bow as you drew back and then kind of relaxed off of it. Where the other one, your hand was kind of more open and it wasn't touching the front of the riser.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna try another one. Stance, stance, hook your release.
Yep, so you want to relax those front fingers. Yeah, so that time your first 2 fingers, I could see a little bit of tension in them. You can see where they turned white, touching on the front of the bow.
You don't want that. Okay. So many things to remember.
Yep, that's archery for you.
So what does this help? Just you become more consistent with some of this stuff. Obviously, we're talking about hand torque here, so that's the consistency of the same process from stance to clipping your release on, to not adjusting your grip, anchoring at the same points. These are all going to help your arrow fly the same every single time.
Yeah, so you'll kind of get, they call it a shot routine. You want to get into a consistent shot routine. So yeah, usually start with your stance, hook your release, set your grip, draw back. Then you'll come to anchor, you know, center up your peep, level your bubble, aim, squeeze through the shot, follow through.
Okay.
And it's kind of a whole routine that you should go through in your head every single time. And everybody's going to have a little bit different shot routine, but that's kind of something you want to play through your head to make sure you hit every step along the way and don't miss anything.
Sure. Okay. We're gonna give this another try here.
That's looking better. Your pinky was a little bit tense out there on that side, but other than that, it's looking really good.
It's almost dead. Stop, 45, and just completely relaxed.
Yeah, yeah, you almost feel like, I don't know, your arm feels really weird when it's super relaxed like that, but for me, it holds way steadier when I can get it like that, and I'm not torquing or anything, and my shot's way more consistent.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely feels a little bit unnatural. It feels like the bow maybe wants to fall out of my hand. I think I will get a wrist strap for hunting and even shooting. I think I'll feel a little bit more comfortable that way.
Yeah, usually that just helps ease your mind a little bit. Even if it doesn't do anything for you, it just helps your mind relax and your grip will soften up because of it.
Bow's not gonna fall out of my hand.
Yeah, just knowing that there's no way it'll fall out of your hand. Yeah, so it's creeping a little bit deeper and deeper into your hand there.
What is that? Just fatigue or?
Yeah, that, and just kind of as you start to get used to things, sometimes it kind of slowly changes and you don't feel it until it gets way too far off.
So you literally want this on the lifeline, right?
You want the lifeline on this side of the grip here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So lifeline on that side of the grip. So about right there.
Yep.
Okay. My 20's looking good. A little high, maybe.
Yeah, just a little bit high. Just relax your fingers. So I like to curl in my last 3 fingers into my palm, just that way they're kind of out of the way. My first finger will kind of hang over the bow, but doesn't really touch it. And these ones curled in on the side. That way they're not like sticking out here and doing weird, because when you stick them out, it tenses up your whole palm there. So you just want to just relax those.
Relax them a little bit, okay.
Yeah, I tucked mine in on the left side of the bow, actually.
I felt good with that shot, but they were a little tense.
Yeah.
Okay. It's still something very new for me, having it that far, having my lifeline on the left side of the grip there. So
whenever you change that, it feels so awkward until you get used to it. Once you get used to it, it'll feel normal again.
It feels like my body's saying, don't screw up. Put your pinky out there to keep it, you know.
Yeah, and you'll see some guys, like, they try and shoot with their hand like this.
Yeah.
And that's, you just want it just really soft and just kind of relax those fingers in, and that loosens up all the tendons in your hand.
We're going to try to do better this time.
Yeah, so just curl your last 3 just on the left-hand side of the bow.
Like that?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you'll just tuck them in and like the bow riser's here and they just kind of look like that, just sitting over there. They don't even really touch anything. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Just make sure they're really soft and not pinching the bow. Uh-oh. Breaking new arrows.
Dude, I just got these arrows. We better go see what happened there. Thanks guys for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe. Don't forget, we'll have more videos with Kyle. So hopefully you've learned how incorrect hand torque translates to hunting and things that can go wrong there. So try to practice how you play, get the correct form, and try to really work on thinking everything through with your hand torque so you don't make a mistake in the field, being it a shoulder shot or a gut shot. So thanks guys.